And we've done a mic adjustment, so I don't. We'll call the August 13th meeting of Caroline County Board of Supervisors to order. Let the record state that all board members are here. Mr. Black representing the Western Caroline District, Mr. Seeley representing Bowling Green, Mr. Underwood representing Reedy Church, Mr. Akers representing Madison, Mr. Taylor representing Port Royal, and I'm Floyd Thomas representing the Mattapan District. This time I'm going to ask Mr. Seeley if he will give us the invocation followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Can we all stand, please? God above, give us the strength and vision in these trying times to help make the proper path for the county. Watch over those overseas that fight in the defense of freedom of this country, for without freedom we all wouldn't be here tonight. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Now if you'll join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pencil. Would you get it already? All right. Opening board comments. Oh, excuse me. Amendments to the agenda. Mr. Cully, we want to add 8A, which is a
yes
consultation
with legal counsel. A7 of the code.
And that's really a legal review of items that are going on, so we'll do that after the conclusion of the regular board meeting. We do have a closed meeting shortly after the consent agenda. So that's the only one we have. Motion to make that change would be in order.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Underwood, seconded by Mr. Taylor. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay. That motion carries unanimously. Opening board comments, Mr. Black.
Yeah, I just have one. One of the things that I think that we need to sometimes, the county staff doesn't get enough credit for what they do. We received a letter a couple weeks ago regarding the fire and EMS out of Ladysmith, both volunteer and paid staff, in a couple really unbelievable efforts. One, preventing a heart attack. Someone saw a heart attack before it even happened. And another one helping basically a young girl who was scared who after got in an accident. And we got that letter, and I just want to thank the fire and EMS for the job well done. Thank you.
Mr. Seeley?
I have none, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Underwood?
Mr. Chairman, just to, I held 2 constituency meetings in Reedy Church, one at the tourism building, one in, at the Frog Level. We had a great turnout at the second meeting. We still have some issues that need to be resolved for the citizens, and we're looking for ways to do that. And with the help of this board, I'm sure we can come to some resolution for folks who still have issues with their housing and sewer issues.
Mr. Akers?
I have them.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes, I just have one. I'd like for the board to know that I will be attending the VACO Education Committee meeting on Friday. That is one of the departments of VACO, and what we do is to try and set the agenda for the General Assembly, or present a request to the General Assembly on behalf of public education. And we will be meeting on Friday in Richmond, and once we do that, we will meet again at the VACO conference in November. So I will keep you posted as to the issues as far as education and how they involve Caroline County school system, and we'll be meeting on Friday. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. And to follow up on Mr. Black's, we are going to recognize the firefighters that I didn't see Chief Loftus. He's on vacation. Chief is on vacation. I saw the chief last week at the National Night Out, and we're going to recognize them in our first meeting in September. So that takes us to agenda item number 1. Agenda item number 1 is a recognition of Luther Morris for his contributions to Caroline County. And Mr. Morris served with myself, Mr. Taylor, I believe, and Mr. Akers in his second term on the board. He was one of the first African Americans to serve on the Board of Supervisors. He was also clerk of the court for 8 years. So we do want to pay tribute to Mr. Morris. There was a miscommunication, so we didn't get a chance to attend the service for him to pay our respects, but we know he is still here with us in one way or another, because there are many things that Mr. Morris touched that are still being done in the county. So we wanted to pay that recognition. And this is normally a countywide recognition, but I have deferred to Mr. Underwood, who represents the Reedy Church District, which is the district Mr. Morris represented on the Board of Supervisors. If you will read the resolution that the board is going to approve right after you read it.
All right, to the board, Mr. Chairman, thank you. This is resolution number 28-13, a resolution in remembrance of Luther D. Morris, and it reads as follows. Whereas Luther D. Morris passed away on June 30th, 2013, at the age of 71, after more than 40 years of service to his native Caroline County, and whereas Mr. Morris was a pioneer for African Americans in Caroline County and the Commonwealth of Virginia, serving 16 years as the first African American member of the Caroline County Board of Supervisors, and 8 years as the first and only African American clerk of the Circuit Court, whereas as a member of the Board of Supervisors, he worked diligently toward the benefit of his community and Caroline County and played a key role in advancing projects such as the construction of Caroline High School, the renovation of the old Caroline Middle School into the Community Services Center, which we are in now, the development of many recreation parks, the recruitment of a dialysis center, and the installation of a traffic signal at the intersection of Route 301 and 30. And whereas during his long and distinguished career, he served his community in many other capacities, including a lifelong member in the NAACP, membership on the Caroline County Social Services Board, Caroline County Electoral Board, Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee, and as a deacon and trustee at Second Mount Zion Baptist Church. Whereas Mr. Morris' activity, personal involvement in his native county, both official and unofficial capacities, has a prolonged positive impact on the lives of many of Caroline and leaves a lasting legacy for future generations. Now therefore be it resolved that the Caroline County Board of Supervisors hereby expresses its sympathy to the family of Luther D. Morris on his passing and its deep appreciation for his dedicated service and the many contributions he made to the betterment of Caroline County. Adopted on the 13th day of August, 2013, signed by the clerk of the board, Mr. Charles Cully, and our chairman, Mr. Floyd Thomas.
Would the Morris family please come forward? Mrs. Morris, if you would, and Mr. Morris, and the rest of you that would like to come forward, please. We're going to do, before you go, Reggie?
Yes.
Why don't you just make a motion that we approve that so we can officially do it?
I will do that.
That's why they come forward.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that the board approve Resolution 28-13.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Underwood, seconded by Mr. Seeley. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimously. You're going to come on stage. Yes. How you doing, Mark? While they come up here, I asked Mrs. Morris if she wanted to claim the rest of you folks, and she said yes. So, are there any other relatives that didn't come forward, or close friends, family? Okay. Okay, Mark is going to make us all move, but oh. So why don't you folks come closer? Okay, now, all right, you guys step forward, Tom. Sure. I'm getting out of the way, Mark. I'm going to stand behind them.
Okay, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to swing everybody all the way around. That's it. See where that at the end of that that, and then we can do that
That's the
right
right,
there.
brother and sister? Okay.
Okay. If you don't mind, some in the front and some in the back. Let's see. Mr. Underwood, can you step back so that,
Go on. Mark, make this work.
yes, I will.
Make this work. Take 2 steps back. And then you
Okay.
put them all in. And then we'll
Okay.
move over.
The 2 on my end, you want to step back? Step back just a little bit. Okay. Ma'am, you can step forward a little bit and then just hit. That's it. You got the right idea. Okay.
You were expecting a production, weren't you? Got it, Mark? Make it work, Mark. Make it work. Everybody inhale. See, not that much closer.
Go back.
Can't go back any further.
You need 2 rows?
Okay, sir. Can you go in the back row right there in between Mr. Underwood and... That's it. Okay. All right. Ma'am, in the red dress there, just an inch to my right. Okay.
You can give it to me. I don't usually hold person, but I was going to give it. I was going to take it. Yeah, no, I don't. Which one of that money is?
Second before you leave.
You're supposed to have $1 at least in there.
All right, this works. Okay, all I need is a nice smile right here. I'm going to get a couple, kind of beat the blinks on everybody. Great. Okay, one more and I'll let you go for this one.
Now we go in the corner. Now we're going to go in the corner, Mark.
Okay.
I'm going to give him that. Well, I'll put your purse under my chair here. Now we're going to all stand in the corner so we can get one with all of you and the rest of the board. So y'all stay in that same position and we'll go behind you.
Now, what you might want to do is remember sort of the same places you were before.
There we go. And we'll just slip in behind you all.
Okay, Mr. Akers, can you come right to the end there, would you, if you don't mind? And Mr. Taylor, if you turn a little bit more towards me. That's it, and an inch to my left. Good. Okay, the lady in the red dress again. Okay, gee whiz, let's see, there's somebody right behind Mrs. Morris there. Okay. Tell you what, why don't you step out, ma'am? Okay, and then stand right next to Mr. Akers.
Wait, I was all freaked up with you.
Okay. The man standing right back of Mr. Underwood, an inch to my, that's it. Let's see. Mr. Taylor, an inch to my left. Good. Let's see, I'm double checking here. That looks, Mr. Black, a little bit to my right. All right, that looks good. Again, I'm going to take a couple here. Great. Okay, one more. Thank you.
There you go.
Do it all. Oh, yeah. That's all right.
This is yours, sir.
Oh, I got to keep track. I think this is yours. Well, thank you. Mr. Rebaby in the audience? Mr. Rebaby? Yes, sir. All righty.
A little warm up there, guys.
As we get back together, we'll give you a chance to get up here. So again, we want to again thank the Morris family for coming and allowing us to pay tribute to Mr. Morris. The board is also working with the circuit court to have a portrait of Mr. Morris installed in the circuit court. So when that event is done, we'd like you all to come back again and participate in that. Y'all want pocketbooks? Cut the tape off first. Cut the tape off first. Okay. It wasn't my color anyhow. That's your briefcase. Yeah. I'm one of those who runs from the purse. Can you all listen? No, I can't. Okay. Our next presentation is a report from the Lake Caroline Water Committee. Mr. Rebaby?
Rebaby.
Rebaby.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for the correction. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, gentlemen of the board. My name is Lieutenant Colonel David Rebaby. I currently reside at 73 Saratoga Cove in Rutherford Glen, Lake Caroline. On February 1st of 2005, I retired from the United States Marine Corps after 27 years of faithful service, which included combat tours in Kuwait, Somalia, and in Iraq. As a career Marine, I could choose anywhere in the world to retire to, which the Marine Corps would move me to, me and my family. I chose Lake Caroline to retire to. The peaceful, serene environment with swimming, boating, and fishing was in stark contrast to my career duty stations living in the desert and in other places, and my combat tours of the 3 places I just mentioned. In May of 2013, the homeowners at Lake Caroline received a notice to public of a joint petition from the State Corporation Commission, or the SCC, regarding the sale of the Ladysmith Water Company, LWC, to Aqua, Virginia. The letter states that Aqua's intention is to, quote, refurbish the filter system currently offline and return the system to service provided from the existing reservoir, unquote. As you know, the LWC has been offline since April of 2009 when you, Caroline County, stepped in and provided emergency water services to the almost 1,100 homes that reside, 1,041 to be exact, homes that reside within Lake Caroline. It is Aqua's intention, per this document, to install meters for usage after the acquisition. Shortly thereafter, Mr. Bill Seltzer, the president of LWC, sent a letter dated 10 June 2013 to all water subscribers about, quote, the county takeover of supply by way of a non-negotiated contract that is punitive, limitless, and costly, and destructive to the LWC and its customers. With little time to react to the county's demands, the water company has been forced to sell its assets under duress. LWC and Aqua believe in our community's potential, and Aqua can support the growth. We regret the 7-year rate case, but LWC has been caught in a one-way political net, unquote. That is a direct quote from the letter that he sent to the subscribers at Lake Caroline.
Mr. Seltzer's letter?
Yes, sir. Mr. Seltzer's letter.
Okay.
And I can provide copies of these letters to whomever you like.
We're going to let you finish and then we'll tell the truth.
Okay. Yes, sir. In early July, I volunteered to lead the Lake Caroline Property Owners Association Board of Directors Water Committee to investigate the details of the sale and purchase of LWC to Aqua, Virginia. 4 other homeowners have joined me on this committee. Due to the urgency of the SCC reply deadline by 23 August, we have been meeting weekly on Friday evenings. Since that time until today, we have all been working tirelessly to acquire the facts in this case. I have personally contacted Mr. Wayne Akers, Mr. Jeff Black, Mr. Cliff Parker, who is the chief engineer at Aqua, Mr. Joey Scheibel from Caroline County, Congressman Rob Whitman, Delegate Cox, Senator McDougal, the Attorney General's Office, the Fredericksburg Area Association of Realtors, or the FAR, and many, many more concerning the possibility of losing recreational rights at Lake Caroline. The major concern among homeowners is that the current waterworks permit allows up to 576 million gallons per day. As a quote-unquote community waterworks. This document is dated February the 2nd, 2002. Aqua has currently asked the DEQ for an increase of up to 1.4 million gallons per day, which is almost a threefold increase. Our concern is that the VDH, the Virginia Department of Health, and/or the DEQ will conduct another water study and possibly determine that the lake cannot sustain this increase and prohibit the use of gas motors and personal swimming, i.e. Personal contact, i.e. swimming in the lake. Should this occur, property values and in turn tax revenue will plummet. I am here this evening as a taxpayer of Caroline County, and I'm asking for your vigilance and your personal involvement to ensure that this worst case scenario that I've just laid out to you does not happen. Without a doubt, the Lady Smith Water Company and Mr. Seltzer need to be replaced. All that we ask for is quality water and the ability to enjoy a recreational use of the lake that we've been doing for more than 40 years. Thank you, sir, for your time.
Thank you, sir. Before you go, we may have a couple of questions and a little bit of discussion.
Yes, sir.
First of all, to respond to the letter from Lady Smith Water Company, the county has been negotiating with Lady Smith Water Company for at least 4 years. I don't think there's anybody here or staff that would say the county forced him to sell. The county actually tried to buy the water system from him, but we didn't really get anywhere. So that's why I said we'll let you finish and then we'll tell the truth. Mr. Emerson, would you like to add anything from a legal perspective since you were there?
Well, actually, I wasn't there. Ann Neal was,
Well, Ann, yeah.
but I mean that's accurate. The SCC also ordered the water company to enter into an agreement to purchase water from the county, which is probably the agreement that he's referred to in the letter. But although the county made a number of attempts to negotiate an agreement, by and large, Mr. Seltzer just would not respond. And ultimately was sanctioned for that by the SCC. But it's hard to negotiate with somebody who won't negotiate with you. So I would say that the statements made in that letter are not accurate.
Sir, I concur 100%. I know the facts. I wanted to make sure that you all were aware of the communication that Mr. Seltzer was doing. This represents maybe 1/5 of the documentation that I've gone through and researched over the past 6 weeks. Of the material, so I entirely concur with what you're saying. Our concern, the 1,041 homeowners at Lake Caroline, our greatest concern is the loss of our recreational use of the lake. And there are a number of, depending on who you ask, who owns the lake, who owns the water, whether or not the sale of LWC to Aqua will indeed cause this subject to even be raised is a matter of debate. I just want to ensure that our Board of Supervisors stand behind the 141 homes, that it's not just residents, but homes that exist within Lake Caroline, to know that you stand with us to ensure that that does not happen, that we do not lose our recreational use.
Well, that's without a doubt. We stand behind you. And again, the county offered to try to buy the system to ensure exactly those things. We never got a response, from Mr. Seltzer. So miraculously, he found somebody else to buy it without our input. So, Mr. Black, do you have anything you'd like to add? I think you've been involved quite a bit since you've been on the board.
I would like to say I think your meeting on Friday, and obviously your meeting went very well, and thank you for the invite. I think you guys are doing what obviously what you guys need to do in that fight. So thank you for your hard work.
Thank you, sir.
Steele? No?
Nothing, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Underwood?
I'm just trying to, and I know this has been going on for a while. So I'm trying to wrap my arms around the type of support and what we're referring to from the board in terms of working with this entity. So, I mean, I understand we have 1,000 plus taxpayers there at the lake, but in terms of, I know we extended and talked to the water company. I know we're servicing water based on that emergency agreement that's been in place for some time, which I think we need to revisit that. But what is it that we're looking at supporting and doing? I want to make sure that we're within our legal bounds as well. We have a legal obligation to every taxpayer in the county, and then we have an obligation to business folks as well. So we're going to make sure we're not on two sides of the fence here.
In this case, Colonel, we are, for the most part, going to support you with letters to the SCC. And that's really the extent of what we can do to support you. I mean, we can flood them with letters, but that's really the extent, because it's now become a private sale and the county has no direct involvement. You know, again, I'm sure the board would like to be directly involved, but I think the sale to Aqua is pretty much marched on.
Yes, sir.
So if there's nothing we can do, so that's the extent of what we can do, is a letter in support of this particular case of not drawing more than 500,000 gallons a day. And I guess would be the case.
Yes, sir. If I could just, sir, I went back and researched from 2002 through 2013, and the most water that Lake Caroline customers have ever withdrawn at one particular time. The high times are usually 4th of July, Memorial Day weekend, Labor Day weekend, great big holiday weekends. The most water has been right around 400,000 gallons per day. That being the case, there's really no reason for Aqua Virginia to increase from the almost 600,000 to 1.4 million gallons, other than to sell the water outside of the Lake Caroline community. And that is not in our best interest. I would invite all of you, gentlemen and ladies, Saturday morning, this coming Saturday, the 17th of August, Aqua Virginia will be making two presentations, one at 09 and one at 10:30 at the Lake Caroline Lodge. All of you are sincerely invited and welcome to come and to hear Aqua's presentation to us, and I strongly recommend that, strongly suggest that. I'm not, please don't misunderstand me, I'm not trying to sling mud against Aqua. That is not my intention. I sincerely hope that Aqua, and I believe that Aqua is going to be better than Lady Smith water. Anybody could be better than Lady Smith water. That's not the issue. The issue is ensuring that our rights, and the majority, you have to understand, over 50% of the residents at Lake Caroline are retirees, and many of them are just like me, military retirees. And if you take away our recreational rights, not you, but the royal you take away our recreational rights, then why do we buy lakefront property?
Yeah, we
can't take
we can't take away.
No, I
We're not
understand.
gonna take that
I say the royal we. I'm not talking about you, John.
Right, yeah, but you're laying that on us.
No, I'm not laying it on you. I'm just looking for your support.
That's what I'm hearing, and I want to make sure that's not the case.
That's not the case. That is not the case. I understand that entirely.
Okay.
And so do we. We understand that entirely. And I honestly don't think that Aqua has any influence over whether or not we can vote. But the Virginia Department of Health and the Department of Environmental Quality do.
Right.
And if more water is taken out than the lake can withstand, then that's where the issue becomes. So I understand, and we all understand that is not on your shoulders.
And we are definitely at the bottom of the food chain in this whole thing, because we're just going to be stuck with whatever happens.
Yes, sir.
If they take 1.5 million gallons a day, you can't use the water, your house values go down.
Yes, sir.
We have to all react to that, which is not going to be a good situation.
Yes, sir.
So, you know, that's part of it, but we'll scribe as much as we have to make sure they understand our position. Mr. Akers, I didn't give you a chance.
Yeah, and I do have a couple of comments. First of all, I would ask this board that they do support the fact that when a hearing is held at the SCC in Richmond, I certainly plan to be there and stand with the Lake Caroline Board of Directors and the residents. And I would ask that you allow the county attorney that has been handling those cases in the past They handled it for Lake Landor, and they've handled it for Lake Caroline in the past. I would ask that you allow her to go and to testify and to make a case to the State Corporation Commission based on the conditions. But, you know, at the last meeting I was at a couple of weeks ago, I asked that those conditions be forwarded to the county staff so we can include them into our comments before the State Corporation Commission. I don't want to go down there, and neither does the county attorney want to go down there and argue against something that your group is for.
Yes, sir.
And so we have to be together if we expect to have them hear us at all. We have to be united, and
Yes,
I
sir.
think that's what we are asking. And I'm asking that the board do allow that to happen, that the county attorney and Neil be able to go down and make a presentation. Having said that, I really want everybody to understand as well that the county tried to assist the residents of Lake Caroline for many, many years. If you go back and look at the records as far back as early 90s, maybe even 89, to be quite honest, you'll find that we tried to buy that system. And he just wanted an outrageous amount and wouldn't negotiate. Through the years, we've tried to work with the Board of Directors in Lake Caroline to work with us. And as I mentioned at the last meeting I had with you and the people in Lake Caroline, we came extremely close as a county being able to step in as a receiver if the company had been put into receivership. And unfortunately, the Board of Directors in Lake Caroline did not see fit to go along with that and to recommend to the State Corporation Commission that he be pushed into receivership and the county be made the receiver. And we met, the county attorney met with the people in Lake Caroline on a Saturday morning for 3 or 4 hours. But again, the Board of Directors in Lake Caroline then did not see fit to do that, did not feel like it was in the best interest. They wanted someone else, and as I always warned, be careful what you ask for, you very well may get it. And in this case, it's come true. And I've always said, and I've said this to you, I think they will provide you with probably a good product, but you're going to pay for it.
Yes, sir.
And that's the issues that we've been talking about over the years. I'm going to be there. I asked the board to allow the county attorney to be there. If we could get him, yeah. And I would make a motion that we...
Let us finish. And then we'll do that.
Okay. But other than that, I believe that's probably as much as we can do. And we'll certainly go to the environmental department of the EPA and work with them and try to get them to see that there's no need to increase it to 1.4 million gallons a day. We'll do all those things. But in the end, if they see fit to do otherwise, it's not because this board has not done what it could do in order to assist the people in Lake Caroline.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Taylor?
I just concur with everything that has been said by the past board members. The board stands behind Lake Caroline and is willing to do what we can. We just have to make clear that our hands are tied in many instances as well. And we don't want to make promises or look as though we're making promises that we don't have the authority to keep. I've been on this board 18 years, and we have always worked with Lake Caroline. There have been problems in the past. We've done what we could to support them, and we certainly intend to do that this time. We just have to remain within the confines of our authority.
Thank you,
all
sir.
I have.
Colonel, again, thanks. Well, take a step back. Thanks for your service.
Thank you,
And you continue to live up to Semper Fidelis, so we do appreciate that. Really, as you said, the only thing we haven't said is the one tool the county would have in its toolbox is, the eminent domain. But we couldn't use eminent domain unless there was a large outcry from Lake Caroline.
Yes, sir.
So, hint, hint. That's really the only thing we can do. We will support you, as I said, with letters, board member attendance, and things that we can do. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you very
I
much.
do appreciate it.
When is the meeting going to, when is ACWA going to have?
17 is the Saturday, this coming Saturday, 17th of August, 0900. And there's also another one at 10:30, I believe. And that's the presentation that ACWA will be making to the homeowners. It's at the lodge. And I would certainly welcome all of you to attend.
Okay. Last thing, as you leave, say hello to Mr. Whiteman, who's on your left. He's a brother in arms.
Mr. Whiteman? Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, appointments, we have, well, follow-up, I'm sorry. The motion, huh? This is not public comment. That's presentations. Mr.
Chairman,
Akers, you want to make a motion?
I would like to make a motion that we allow the county attorney and Neil, which has been handling the water issues for the county over the years, to attend the SEC meeting and present the county's case in cooperation with the Lake Caroline Board of Directors and the Lake Caroline Water Committee report that's going to be approved by the Board of Directors, I'm sure, in Lake Caroline.
Second.
Motion is basically to have the county attorney that handles the water cases
Yes.
attend the SEC meetings on the county's dime.
Yes.
Okay. Discussion? All in discussion?
Mr. Chairman, just to remind everybody that the county does have a vested interest in the property values.
Yes.
So let's not lose sight of why we're defending what we're defending. That's my only comment.
Right, and that's, I think we all understand that, and I think we've kind of made that clear, but it's good to bring it up again. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay.
Nay.
Okay, Mr. Black.
Aye.
Mr. Seeley.
Aye.
Mr. Underwood.
Nay.
Mr. Akers.
Aye.
Mr. Taylor.
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. The motion carries 5-1. That takes care of presentations and reports. Why are you standing up? Okay. I just get a little nervous when people stand up. So if you'd like to, feel free to exit.
Looked like y'all were wrapping up.
Okay, thank you.
Coffee and donuts on Saturday.
Yeah, thanks. All right, appointments, we have Building Code Board of Appeals. We've got a couple of vacancies. Mr. Fincham had discussed those. Port Royal, Madison, Reed Church. And are you ready?
Yeah, I am not ready, and I do apologize. I just have not been able to contact any of those persons. I've tried, I've left messages, but I will continue to try to do that and hopefully have an appointment at the next meeting.
Okay.
I echo Mr. Taylor's comments. I did have a question, because we redistricted, did the redistricting, that Mr. Pitts is now in Mattapan. So I have not had an opportunity to discuss this with anyone, but I'm sure there probably needs some discussion as to responsibilities there, to make sure that that person understands.
They've never met, so I don't think they have too many responsibilities.
Right.
This is historically a tough one for us to fill. Mr. Fincham, I know we've used pretty much the same people over and over again, and there's I think there's a requirement that we have to have a professional somewhere. Yes, a design professional.
Yes, sir.
A registered design professional, which makes it even more restrictive.
Right.
Could you please help the board to make sure that we can get some names, or at least provide some folks to the board members who have served
Yeah.
before?
Yes, sir.
I think that may help,
Okay.
because I think I'm using Mr. Pitts. I used Mr. Pitts before, then he got redistricted.
Right.
Now he came back, so I can use him the next time I need somebody. But
Yes.
if you can just provide some names of folks who have served, design professionals you may know, I think we'd appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you,
A number
sir.
of recycled off. We used to
Right.
have a design professional
Yes.
from Madison. He cycled off several terms back, did not want to be reappointed. So we can get you some more names. I think we've provided.
You provided me with two names. One had indicated he did not at this point in time.
Okay.
But I haven't had a chance to contact the other person. I will contact them.
Okay, we'll get some more names if you
I
want
don't
us
need
to.
more names.
Thank you. The others you do. All right, thank you. Moving to the consent agenda, and we do have a closed meeting after this that we're going to do during our break. Consent agenda. Anyone want to pull anything off the consent agenda besides item C?
Mr. Chairman, item C and item E.
C and E? Okay.
He